Hello everyone. Today we'll talk about our monolith definition. We understood that the definition of weak coupling, and there are a lot of terms that can be quite complex. Developers often understand that phenomenon. The code should be reusable, modular, and so on. Theories should have same weak coupling, necessary level of abstraction. But in practice, they always turn out to be monoliths. When we discussed monolith, we heard from the guys a remark that in fact, the definition of a monolith itself requires clarification, because a monolith can to see how to organize the software code inside in a certain way that can be flexible and modular. Today, I'd like to give my own definition of a monolith. In general, what criteria should any term for an IT manager possess? Yes, it should be meaningful to him in some way. So the presence of this word itself should somehow affect this. Thus, based on our understanding of a monolith, we comprehend the concept of weak coupling. And the primary watershed between the monolith and the service architecture passes through this location. Monolithic is a tightly coupled architecture. SOA is loosely coupled. Just this. What's the implication? Why is loose coupling so significant? Manager's difference? If software architecture is loosely coupled, it's always clear who's responsible for what. Can manipulate their software. And as a general principle, this implies that the software itself is sufficiently streamlined and there cannot be any exceptional incidents occurring there, well, such catastrophic ones. It is evident that issues consistently occur, but they will not endure there for days. Indeed, they will endure for minutes, on occasion, in the event of certain challenging circumstances, perhaps even hours. We asked ourselves how to understand an outside observer, a product manager, a manager, whether he has a monolithic architecture state or not, and how to convey that understanding to them. And we have displayed the following 3 questions. First question, I am not afraid, and my team is not afraid to make modifications to this service. If your team conveys that they are most likely experiencing fear and hesitation when it comes to making changes to this service, these are signs of a monolith. Second, in the project there is not only one product, but several of them. And a large number of these services have the potential to be reused without requiring any modifications or adjustments. Key, unchanged. For instance, we have a project on AI that generates product descriptions based on properties, which generates translations, which is an aggregator of neural systems. So if we imagine that this service as if its main property, no AI interaction, but for instance with marketplaces, that's something we do have. 2 out of 3 components of the service will remain unchanged. So we will have 2 products that will be exactly the same as they were. And this is one of the signs of weak coupling. And the third question we can ask on the Likert scale is as follows. This product has a business user who is responsible for all process metrics in it. The product exists, and it is responsible for the completeness of the backlog. That is, no one can change any feature, any entity, any attribute inside except him. And if he decided to change, it doesn't affect anyone in any way. In this case, the product owner can change anything in their product, and they are fully responsible for everything that happens there. I draw your attention to the fact that technical departments responsible for ERP systems are immediately rejected here due to the technical department. Not responsible for KPI, for instance, ERP systems. Ultimately, it is not possible to have several roles working in one system, several completely different users, and for them to be able to generate their own data block. Accounting can generate certain improvements in terms of its own processes. The procurement department can generate certain improvements in its own processes. And they will conflict with each other. Why will they conflict? Because they will be pushing against the bottleneck of one team. They lack full control over their backlog if they're together. So who among them is the product owner? In theory, someone is overseeing them. But the one above cannot be accountable for all KPIs, for the KPIs of both these and those. Therefore, if your product potentially has many product owners, or you cannot imagine a state in which one of the services in your state can be completely given to one product owner, for example, even by your own team, and they will do everything there independently of all other services. Such a state will also indicate a monolith. That's all for today. Bye.